Welcome back once again, all of my low carb friends, and for those of you who are here for the first time, welcome. Today I have another very easy keto recipe for you, and if you want a printable version of this recipe, you can check out my website at janet'sdeliciouslowcarbkitchen.com. You can find a printable version of this recipe and other goodies there for you. And if you're new to the channel and you want to see lots of easy, delicious, low carb keto recipes, make sure you click that subscribe button and click the notification bell that's right next to the subscribe button. That way you can be notified every time I put out new videos. And if you are a music lover, make sure you check out the link in the description to my other YouTube channel, Inspirational Songs with Janet. I've posted another new song there, so make sure you check that out and subscribe there also. And remember, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific time, I go live on TikTok at Janet's Delicious Kitchen, so make sure you join me there. And if you'd like to help support this channel, make sure you scroll down in the description of the video. You'll see some affiliate links. Anytime you purchase anything using those affiliate links, a small portion of your purchase will go to me and help support the channel. So while you do all that, let's get cooking. Preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Line an 8-inch round cake pan with a silicone baking mat or some parchment paper and set it aside for a minute. Grind 10 grams or around 2 tablespoons of whole psyllium husk until it's about half of its volume. So by the time you get done grinding it, it's going to be around 1 tablespoon. I just throw mine in my coffee grinder and grind in 10-second intervals for a total about 30 seconds, and that's usually a good texture for me. Pour the ground husk into a large mixing bowl. Combine 84 grams or around 3/4 cup of coconut flour, 38 grams or around 3 tablespoons of the granulated sugar substitute of your choice. I'm using granulated monk fruit sweetener. 3 tablespoons or around 38 grams of the brown sugar substitute of your choice. I'm using brown monk fruit sweetener. If you don't want to use the 50-50 blend, you can use all granulated sugar substitute or all brown sugar substitute. I personally like the taste and texture of a 50-50 blend. Add 13 grams or around 1 tablespoon of baking powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. You can adjust this more or less depending on how much of a cinnamon taste you want in the dough part of your cinnamon rolls. Sift the dry ingredients into the bowl with the ground psyllium husk until everything is fully combined and there are no lumps in the dry ingredients. Add 3 large room temperature eggs, a 1/2 cup of butter that's been melted, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 32 milliliters or around 2 tablespoons of hot water. And yes, you want this hot. The heat will help activate the psyllium husk so that it softens and acts similar to gluten and holds your ingredients together. Add 32 milliliters or around 2 tablespoons of hot keto milk of your choice. My favorite keto milk is coconut milk. And again, you want this to be hot. Be careful not to heat your milk so much that it curdles. You just want it to have a good amount of warmth to it. And again, this is just to help activate that psyllium husk so it can glue your ingredients all together. Stir the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients for about 30 seconds or so, or until a smooth dough forms. Then set it aside for just a second. In a small bowl, use a fork and stir together 5 grams or around 1 tablespoon of whole psyllium husk and 44 milliliters or around 3 tablespoons of hot water. And again, you want this hot so you can activate that psyllium husk. Stir for around 45 seconds to a minute or until the texture is thick and gummy. Spoon the mixture into the bowl with your dough. Then stir everything together for about 1 minute or until everything is fully combined and your dough is completely smooth. This is going to just give you a little bit of extra binding power for your dough. We're going to be rolling it into a cinnamon roll, so you want the dough to be very flexible, but we don't want to use a whole lot of eggs because we don't want our cinnamon roll to taste like an egg roll. Scrape down the sides of the bowl and push the dough to the center of your bowl. Knead the dough in the bowl for about 2 minutes or until the dough can form a smooth, flexible ball. Allow the dough to sit at room temperature for about 15 minutes so husk can continue to bind all the ingredients together. While the dough is sitting, in a small bowl, whisk together 38 grams or around 3 tablespoons of the brown sugar substitute of your choice, and again, I'm using brown monk fruit sweetener, and 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. Whisk them together until they're fully combined and there are no lumps, then set it aside until your dough is done sitting. After your dough has sat for 15 minutes, line a clean work surface with some parchment paper. Place your dough in the center of your paper. Cover the dough with another piece of parchment paper. Then roll your dough out to where it's about a 1/4 inch thick. It should be around a 10 by 15 inch rectangle by the time you get done rolling it out. Now you'll see in the video that I am using a silicone mat underneath my dough. And you'll see later on in the video that I switched to parchment paper underneath my dough instead of the silicone baking mat, and you'll see why in a minute. Once your dough is all rolled out, set it aside for just 1 second. Melt 2 tablespoons of butter until it's fully liquefied. I just toss mine in my microwave for about 20 seconds or so, just until the butter is completely 100% melted. Brush the melted butter over your dough rectangle. You may not need all of the butter. You just want enough to make your dough nice and damp so that your filling can stick to your dough. I used most of the butter, but I didn't use quite all of it, so you may have a little bit left over. Sprinkle the brown sugar substitute and cinnamon mixture evenly over the melted butter. Make sure you leave some space around the edges so when you go to roll up your cinnamon roll that none of the filling spills out. Use the back of a spoon or your fingers and gently tap the filling into the dough so that it stays stuck into that butter and doesn't sprinkle out. Sprinkle 2 to 3 ounces of Keto chocolate chips evenly over your cinnamon mixture. I'm using Lily's chocolate caramel chocolate chips. You can use whatever chocolate chips you want. And again, you want to leave space around the edges so that when you roll your cinnamon roll up, the chocolate chips don't spill over. Also, be careful not to put too many chocolate chips in. The more chocolate chips you put into the filling, the more difficult it can be to roll it up. So you just want to scatter in there just enough to be able to taste the chocolate chips. Ideally, you would want to use mini chocolate chips, but I haven't found any keto-friendly mini chocolate chips. Now to roll up the cinnamon roll, start at the widest part of the dough that's closest to you. Roll the dough in a tight, smooth spiral around your filling. Use your parchment paper that's underneath the dough to help guide your dough while you're rolling it. This is why I switched to parchment paper underneath my dough rather than the silicone mat. It's much easier to use the paper to guide your dough rather than a silicone mat. Make sure while you are rolling your dough that you keep the spiral nice and tight and smooth. Once the dough is all rolled up, dampen your fingers and lightly rub your fingers along the seam so you can seal up the roll completely. Then let the roll sit for about 10 minutes so it can secure all the layers. After 10 minutes, cut the roll into 11 equal portions or however big or little you think you're going to want your cinnamon rolls. Remember, this is made with coconut flour, so coconut flour doesn't really rise or expand. So basically, whatever thickness you cut your roll to, that's how thick your cinnamon roll is going to be once it's done baking. Place the cinnamon rolls side by side with the spiral side up into your prepared cake pan. When you cut your roll into portions, if the spirals come a little bit loose, just use your hands and kind of push them back together a little bit. You want to make sure that your layers stay nice and secure so that when the roll is done baking, you don't have loose layers in your cinnamon rolls. Once the rolls are all in your pan, use the palm of your hand and just very slightly flatten the tops of each one of the rolls. This is just going to help secure all your layers. Place the rolls in your preheated oven. Bake at 350 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes or until the cinnamon rolls are golden. Once the rolls are done baking, remove them from the oven. Allow them to cool in the pan for about 15 minutes before you frost them if you choose to frost them. While they're cooling, we're going to make our frosting. For the frosting, beat 3 ounces of room temperature softened cream cheese for about 30 to 45 seconds on medium speed until it's completely smooth. Scrape down the sides of the bowl and push the cream cheese to the center of the bowl. Add 45 grams or around 3 tablespoons of room temperature Greek vanilla yogurt and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Beat the cream cheese, yogurt, and vanilla together for about 30 to 45 seconds or until it is fully combined. Now you're using a flavored yogurt, so make sure that you check your ingredients and make sure that the yogurt is a keto-friendly yogurt. I like the Too Good brand of yogurt, but of course you can use any keto-friendly brand you want to. Once everything is combined, if you need to, scrape down the bowl and push everything to the center of the bowl. Gradually add 43 grams or around 1/3 cup of the powdered sugar substitute of your choice. I'm using powdered monk fruit allulose blend. Just add it a little bit at a time and beat the powdered sugar substitute in after each addition. Don't try to add it all at once. It'll bunch up all together and it doesn't mix as well. Once all the powdered sugar substitute is added, beat on medium speed for about 45 seconds to a minute or until everything is completely smooth and creamy. Then set it aside until your rolls have set for at least 15 minutes. Once the rolls have sat for 15 minutes, spoon some of the frosting over the warm rolls. Then let the frosting sit for about 5 minutes so it can kind of soak into the rolls a little bit. After 5 minutes, remove the rolls from your cake pan and separate them into individual rolls. Then place them on a wire rack. Spoon your desired amount of frosting over the rolls. You may or may not use all of the frosting. It's up to you as to how much frosting you want. I still had a little bit of frosting left over. If you do have frosting left over, you can just store it in your refrigerator for up to 3 days and just use it in whatever you want. Once the rolls are all frosted, you can serve these warm or at room temperature. If you do have any leftovers, allow them to cool completely, then store them in an airtight container at room temperature for up to 3 days, or in an airtight container in your refrigerator for up to 1 week. I have not tried to freeze these. I think they would probably freeze okay, but I haven't tried it. So if you try it and it works, let us know. And eat and enjoy. And that's our recipe of the day. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you want to see more recipes like this, make sure you click that thumbs up like button, click that subscribe button, leave me a comment if you want to. Let me know if there's any recipes that you'd like to learn how to make, and I'll do what I can to get those out there for you. And as always, keep cooking.